Hello everybody and welcome back to part 6 of the Let's Build the Perfect Grade Strike Rogue. Now in this part we're going to be working on the cockpit and the main body of the Sky Grasper. But in the previous part we did the shoulders, which I've added the stickers onto. And we did both of the arms. Just really simple sticker decals on those. Now, as I said before, we're going to be working on the Sky Grasper on the cockpit and the main body, just because the cockpit is so small that it only takes up a few steps, and the body is just a little bit longer. And I have done a little bit of painting on it with my silver and my metallic gray paints. So in the very first step, it has a whole ton of small parts. Now I'm going to try and see how well this will work again. But you can kind of see on the inside there are a ton of details. There's keypads, there's screens, there's dials, there's buttons, there's a whole bunch of stuff. If this was a normal model of a plane, those would all be separated and you'd have to glue them all in and stuff. For me, all I did was just take my black panel line Gundam marker here and just tapped it on each area. Wiped it off with a Q-tip because if it's a real pain to get off once it's dry, and you get this kind of effect. So then you have the two chairs, two pilots, and a couple outer armor pieces, and yeah. So this one, it says, goes in the bottom of here, just like that. Next, we'll put the pilots into their chairs. There is one that I want on the front, one I want in the back. Okay, this one looks like the one I want in the back. Then on the chairs, there's kind of a little rail kind of system that will just slot them right on into here. So essentially, they have an ejection seat. Let me just try and put a seat in here really quickly first. Okay, and let me just grab the back pilot. Right, so you have to really make sure that the pilots are in there nicely. And then it is a really tight bit for them. Like a really, really tight bit. So this is what they'll look like. So again, line up the peg in the rear end with the rear end slot in the chair. Kind of angle it so then their feet go past the controls. Does the pilot really have more room? I guess that kind of makes sense, but the one in the front has a lot more room than the one in the back. So that's kind of what you'll get. Then we'll take these two outer armor pieces with this kind of triangle piece facing upwards. We'll just slot it right into each side of the cockpit. And we'll take the other side and do the exact same thing. Oh, that was a snap and a half. There we go. Now, all of these parts are going to make up the front of it. So it says to have it on the bottom here. And these two little pegs line up right inside of here. There's kind of two little holders for them. For some reason though, it does not. Okay, so that piece will go there. Yeah, it just doesn't seem. Next, we'll have this piece. Come in and sit right underneath. Just like that there. And we'll take this clear plastic part, put it all over the front. And this piece, just go right into there. And there we go. Well, no, not quite. As I say, this part. Oh, I forgot to go over the runners that you'll need. There are poly caps, which is nice. So we have runner WE, runner U, you'll be seeing these runners a lot for the plane. Runner WC, WA, and WB. That's all the runners for all the parts pretty well that you'll need. Especially for these sections here. So we'll take this very clear plastic canopy, making sure that's over the top of them, just like that. And then we'll take this part with this angled part here, facing outwards. We'll put it right over the top of the canopy, just like that. Now this part here, there's only kind of one way it can go, like that. And then still following all the lines of the airplane. And with this weird kind of part facing upward, facing towards the back of the plane. Right back there. There's our cockpit. So I'd estimate the plane to be somewhere in around kind of this kind of range. Just because it's a fighter plane. So now we get to move on to really giant parts. So we have a whole bunch of polycaps. We have two giant pieces of the inner frame. So let me just see. This is not the right part. Wait. Wait. So using this part here, we'll stick this polycap right up here. Next, we'll take this very square polycap. I think it should go right in there. And this rectangular polycap should go right in there. Is that correct? And then this polycap just sits right in there like that. So this is what you'll get. We'll take this other half, line everything up, and close it all up. Just making sure that all the polycaps that you can see are seated correctly. And you'll end up with a piece that looks like this. I'm going to put that down for a second. Remember to So first off, what it says is to have these pegs on the upwards, the higher side than the rest of it, and just let that in like that there. Do I hold it correctly? Yes. Yes. So it'll look like that when it's done. And this part with the rounded side towards the inside, so basically the flat part is on the outside like that. And then we put this all off to the side and we bring in this back in. Now there's a whole lot of outer armor parts. And some accent piece parts. So this one with this triangle and these parts facing upwards actually. Yeah. You can basically only go onto one side. First of all, you have to put on this part here. So then the flat is towards the middle here. So this one will stick onto this one. And with this edge on the towards the outside of the aircraft. Do the same to both of them. So then it'll look like this. Then we get to take these with these vents towards the back. I don't think that's... There we go. So then it's seated right onto a peg here. And this weird kind of groove part. So again, just making sure that it kind of looks like this here. And then we'll take this part with this very boring side towards the inside. I'm thinking there we go. Yes, it is that side towards the middle. And the rest of it down this side of the plane. So then it looks like this. Let's do that exact same thing over on the other side here. Just like that. Next we'll take this fancy part and stick it right over the full top, making sure that all the pegs have lined up and are nice and secure. So it'll look like this. It's actually really nice. And you can take this part here, stick it right onto the very back of the plane. Come on. Why don't you want to line up properly? Oh, that might be why. It's upside down. There we go. So with the polycap downwards, it'll just snap right into there. And these actually seem to be going to be fairly quick parts, but you don't know until you try. So all of these parts are going to fit together. These small parts go onto the small wing flaps or wing tips. These larger ones should slide on just like that. So let me just do that again. Doesn't matter which side it's facing out at all, because these are just wings basically. So these little ones have little pegs at the bottom. That'll just slot right into this. Just like that there. These ones actually, it says to put them on these on afterwards. So then it'll look like that. So it's just another peg, socket, making sure that this kind of pin thing is on the outside or towards the front. Just like that. Now I have done some more painting. These are all gun turrets. And instead of them having this kind of dark gray bland color, I've gone ahead and painted them over with the metallic gray here. So if I'm handling them a little bit more cautiously, that's why. So we're just going to put the two halves together, just like that. I'm going to put a little gun barrel at the end. And if you don't know this technique, it's just basically steady pressure and turning until it finally decides to snap on. And then with this kind of pegs on the top, this little blue part will just slot right into there, or should, once it gets lined up. Or actually, this one is correct. So it'll look like that once it's done. So let's do the exact same to the other side. Just one second here, this one isn't quite clean. There we go. Just snap the two halves together. And afterwards I will clean that little piece up. Then I'm just filling around with it till everything lines up. So this one, oh, where's the little chart? There it is. Again, just pushing and twisting until finally kind of just snaps together. Just lining up the pegs. There's little holes here, little pegs. just slide together nicely. Just like that. And now we get to work on the bottom of the plane again. For our last few steps. So with these two little bumps here, facing away from this part, it'll just slide over there onto its rail. Then these two, this just lines up like that. And this other half does the exact same. Just like this. So this one here, just following those lines will go like this as I nearly drop it. And again with the longer side on the top. That one just fits on just like that. The longer side is always going to go on the top. So it'll look like this here. Then this little part can just slide right on top. You know what? For now, we can have that closed. If we kind of pick at it, it'll open up again. So there we go. That's the cockpit. And part of the main this is the main body of the plane. So I would like to thank everyone for watching, and in the next part we are going to finish up everything on this. So we're going to put on the two kind of extra parts on the wings. We are going to put the turret on this part here, and just add on a couple little parts, and that's pretty well it. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching up to now, and until next time, remember to rock on.